Hey friends, what's up? If you aren't aware, recently the SvelteHack 2024 Runes edition has ended. And basically, if you're one of the lucky participants in the Svelte Hackathon, maybe you enjoy some of these big money prizes. So we can see you could have earned up to $3,000 for the first place, which is really awesome just for writing some Svelte. And we can even look at some winners from previous years. So 2023, how time flies, right? Someone actually made Wolfenstein in the browser. So they basically made Wolfensvelte, which is a fully playable port of Wolfenstein 3D, 100% rendered by Svelte. So no WebGL or Canvas, it just uses CSS and transforms things around, and it just slaps things in the browser, which is really incredible. Then you also had some awesome and amazing projects, which a lot of people love, like Superforms, for example. And then you had some other amazing projects like Svelte Lab, which is basically a REPL for SvelteKit projects, so you can easily spin up Svelte or SvelteKit projects and try things out without much fuss, right? But today we're going to be looking at the previous year of our Lord, 2024, it's already 2025. So we're going to look at some cool apps from a cross-platform app launcher like Raycast to some fun games made with Svelte. Alright, so the first category is going to be Wizzbangery. And what is Wizzbangery? Well, basically the wizards of Wizzbangery are masters of innovation, showcasing novel and impressive uses of Svelte. Basically, you make something cool and then you get paid. And the first place is going to be Kunkun. And what is Kunkun? Kunkun is an open source, extensible, cross-platform app launcher. Basically, it's like Raycast, but for every other platform, right? So it's cross-platform, extensible, with a focus on privacy. So let's actually look at how it looks like. So you can launch Kunkun, and of course you can search for applications. Maybe there's even an extension for searching for files. And you have these built-in commands, right, which are really useful. And you have system-wide commands like cleaning the trash and etc. And you can of course go to the store, you can install any of these extensions, or you can create your own extension. How cool is this? And there's a lot of cool tech behind Kunkun. So basically it uses Tori. If you're familiar with Electron, Tori is like Electron, but instead of writing pure JavaScript, it's basically Rust first, but then you can use any front-end framework, JavaScript that you want. You can use Svelte, React, and etc. And that's how you can easily build cross-platform applications in the future, even mobile apps, I think. And the major difference between Tori and Electron is that Electron ships the entire Chrome browser or whatever, but Tori on the other hand uses the built-in web views in your operating system. So your operating system, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and etc. have a built-in browser that comes with it, right? So it uses that instead. That's basically how I understand it. But because Tori is so new, it doesn't really have that entire ecosystem that Electron does. And keep in mind, Tori isn't this Electron killer that people pretend it is, because you're going to have to write Rust and etc., which is, of course, the blazing fast language. So if you're into that, then you can use Tori. And of course, it uses Svelte for the UI, and Tailwind CSS for the styling, but in particular, it uses ShadCN Svelte. That's why it looks so good. And you can, of course, learn more about Kunkun if you go to their docs. Here you have Get Started, how to install it. You can go through the demo, here to showcase a lot of these extensions that you have. So you can just go to the store, you can install the extension, you can have clipboard history, disk speed, file transfer, video converter, and etc. There's nothing you can do, right? You can even write it yourself. And it has also a huge emphasis on security, because you know JavaScript npm ecosystem, you install a package and boom, now you have a crypto miner. Have fun. Okay, but seriously, it actually tries its best, and it's really new, so you can even join, hop in, help the development, right? And it's not just Svelte if you want to write an extension, so let me just actually find this section. Basically, Kunkun supports turning any static website into an extension. So you can use any framework like React, Svelte, and Vue. You can use your own styles, but of course, they recommend for consistency that you use Tailwind CSS plus ShadCN. And Kunkun is a really cool project in my book. Alright, so the second place goes to Infinite Turtles, which is a really simple but addictive, fun card game. It's built with Svelte, and you're going to see these beautiful animations using shaders. So this is how it works. This is basically your avatar, you have your enemy, it gets 2 attacks per turn. You basically have to use turtles to sacrifice them so it doesn't hit you or bonk you on the head, right? So you can actually just place one of our turtles down here. So it's going to attack this turtle, and then it's going to attack us. And you can of course heal yourself if you want, you can give yourself HP. And now we're going to see we lose this turtle, and we basically have to defend our turtles. So we can put this turtle down here, and now we can use this special rune, this state rune, so you can actually prevent it from getting hit 2 times. You can already see it soaked 1 HP. Now it's going to retaliate and attack the enemy. And you can see how this simple game can end up being so much fun. Now we can place this turtle. Let's also protect this, because why not? You can see now it's going to attack it, and we're going to retaliate, and we're going to destroy this guy. Later. Okay, great. You can already see how fun and addicting this game is. Now we get a new card, the Inspect rune, and you can see how much fun this is. And of course, as I said, this uses Svelte under the hood. You can see how cool this looks, right? And I made a couple of videos about Svelte, but I should make a new one because they recently had a major version release, right? So maybe you can check that out if you want. Alright, so coming in third place is going to be Svudoku. As the name says, it's basically Sudoku in Svelte. And I honestly barely even know how Sudoku even works. I only learned it for this game to understand how it works. Basically, when you play Sudoku, you have to place these numbers 1 through 9. It has to go here horizontally for each line, then vertically, and then all of these special blocks inside of here also have to have numbers from 1 to 9. So basically, you can just play this. It's going to tell you, hey, you can't use 1 here, use something else, right? In most other Sudoku games, I think if you do something like this, if you give enough tries, you're going to lose the game, right? But in this case, it just lets you on easy mode, I guess, right? So you can actually just place whatever you want, in this case 9. And then I even don't know what this game mode is. You have this classic version of Sudoku, and you have this killer version, which looks even more insane to me as a person that doesn't even understand how Sudoku works in the first place. But if this is something for you, you can actually see a lot of love and care has been put into this game, so check out Sudoku. And it's built with Tailwind CSS, and for the UI it uses Bits UI, which had a new stable 1.0 release recently. It also uses Shadsi and Svelte, and for the icons it uses Lucid, which is one of my favorite icon packs. And in fourth place, we have another fun game called Svelte Space, which is basically a tower defense game. So we can actually load this game up here, we can start the game, you can see these enemies are going to spawn, and we can just click on them to destroy them. We can upgrade our towers right here, if you have the resources right, so this is basically the entire point behind killing these monsters. And the lovely thing about this, all of these resources are handcrafted by a human, that's right, not AI, so how wonderful is this, right? So if you have enough money, you can upgrade one of these towers. And they basically have a couple of tiers that you can upgrade. So over time it becomes automatically. You just need to prevent these guys from hurting your health bar. Oh, you also lose money if you're bad at the game like me. But yeah, basically that's how this works, right? It's a really fun and simple game. So let's actually look at another fun game, which is Haunted House. And this is basically inspired by Dr. Mario, I believe. It wasn't really said in the description, but I basically think that this is it, right? And all these games also have a wonderful soundtrack, but to be safe, I muted the sound for this video. And of course, you have guides, but to be honest, when I play games, I never read a guide. I just want to play it, and that's basically it, right? So you can actually see your goal here. When you enter the spooky house, you actually have these things like pills, right? So Dr. Mario, right? And then you have to get rid of this ghost, so you have to put down in the same colors, right? Yeah, I'm already starting to be distracted, right? When I look at this, and some people are probably like cringing super hard at this, but basically if you have enough of the same colors, then you can actually slap this ghost, and then you have some other special attacks, right, that you can use. So let me actually just do this. Okay. Oh, spacebar just presses pause. I thought that would immediately, like Tetris, put this thing down. So basically let me just, oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me just do this. Okay, can I win? Oh no. Okay, let me just go and do this. Let's just, and there you go. Now we got him. And you can use special equipment, like let me just use C. So next turn, let me just, oh, okay. It doesn't drop, I always forget. Because you can drop this, and then it's going to clear this area if you want. Or, yeah, it's going to give you every color of this kind. And then if we press X, oh, what is it? Okay, it's V, I think. Okay, so now we're going to get Le Bomb. So now we can drop the bomb here to help you out. And is going to clear this. And boom, job well done, because I'm that good at games. Pro Gamer MLG, let's go. It is what it is, right? And basically this uses SvelteKit, it uses Tailwind CSS for the styles, of course, everyone uses Tailwind today. And basically that's it for the Wizzbangery category. Alright, so the next category is going to be Rune Ritualist. And basically the requirement for this category is that you use Svelte 5 runes to make something cool. As it says, with the release of Svelte 5, the Rune Ritualist can take full advantage of runes and the capabilities they unlock. So this category is for packages that push the envelope to the cutting edge. So let's look at the first place, which is SyncroState. So SyncroState is a package that brings Svelte reactivity to the multiplayer level. And for this, it uses this YJS package, and then SyncroState provides a reactive and type-safe API on top of it using Svelte. So if you want to build something like Google Docs, Figma, and etc., this is what you want to use. And we're actually going to see in a second, once I enter this world, I haven't heard so much word salad in a while, and of course I'm not talking about this package, I'm talking about things like this YJS, because immediately you read, industry-leading CRDT for conflict-free real-time collaboration. I'm like, alright, can I make something with it? Okay, what is this, right? But basically, you can just make real-time applications, and you're going to see some funny marketing memes in a second when we look at live blocks. So let me actually show you this. So usage, you basically can import a provider like Liveblocks. So this basically provides you with YJS if you don't want to host it yourself. you basically just do this. You can create a token, they have a free tier, right? And then you just use this simple SyncroState API. You create this document here. Here you have this nodes array. And then when you have this button here on click, you can just mute the state. You can say document.nodes.push and you can update this. Here they even have an example how this works. So here is a live demo. If you have another tab open, so this is really multiplayer, we can actually drag these objects around and it would reflect in another person's tab, right? So this is really wonderful. If we move the circle around, and it uses YJS, which are modular building blocks for building collaborative applications like Google Docs and Figma. And as you can see, it uses in this example live blocks as the provider, but it's not really necessary. You can use anything that supports YJS, but this is the funny part to me. So let's look at their marketing. Ready-made features for AI and human collaboration. Like, who is this marketed? That someone explain me in the comments, right? And here is the actually great part. It uses this awesome library Daisy UI for the UI. So I'm sure a lot of people already know about Daisy UI. And this is a really great package if you're working on any multiplayer experience. Alright, so at the second place we have Twoslash Svelte. And basically Twoslash is a library that makes it really simple to add annotations when you're using TypeScript in these code blocks. So you can have these rich descriptions on your site. So let's say, for example, a Svelte or SvelteKit documentation would really benefit from something like this. So you can hover over something in your code and then you can use Shiki Twoslash to show these TypeScript definitions or whatever else you want. So that is really awesome in my opinion. Alright, coming hot in the third place is svisx, or I don't know how you pronounce it exactly. Basically, it's a port of this Airbnb svisx library, which is a collection of expressive low-level visualization primitives for React. But in this case, svisx is for Svelte, of course. So you can actually look at these components here. If we just go here and we can start by looking at areas, we can look at axis, bar group, whatever you need. You can use these components yourself. They look really cool in my opinion, so now it's really easy to use them also in Svelte if this is something that you needed. Yeah, look at this. Cool. Heat maps. Yeah, sure. Give it to me. Alright, awesome. We have pies. Everyone loves pies, right? Polygons, radar, and the list goes on and on. And of course, this uses D3, the bespoke JavaScript library for data visualization. You can see you can do a lot with this. Then at fourth place we have Svelte Value Inspect. And this is really cool if you want to display your values, promises, and etc. as a JSON looking tree thing. You can actually just instantiate this and now you can pass in reactive values or whatever and you're going to get this JSON like data looking structure. So you can observe your values changing in real time. So you can actually look at some examples here. And you can see in these examples, everything works from strings and etc. to objects, date, and whatever else you might be needing. So we have this expandable view, map and set even works. We have promises. So when you have code like this, you're going to see on the right side is going to show you if the promise is resolved or not. And this is a really cool looking library. But yeah, of course, you can explore this yourself or let me know if you want a video on it. Alright, and coming in hot in the fifth place is Flexiboards. And this is basically a cool headless reactive drag and drop component library for Svelte 5. So you can actually look at these examples here. Alright, so let's say for example that we want sales to take one spot here instead of taking up the entire width. And let's say that we want to move active in the second row. So boom, bam, thank you ma'am, now we're done. We can actually exit edit mode and now we can't change it anymore. So basically if you need something flexible like this, where the user can drag and drop things around, this is the library that you're looking for. And I believe that this concludes the winners in the Rune Ritualist category. Alright, in the last category we have the Migration Magician. Basically, Migration Magicians are masters of transformation showcasing impressive upgrades of existing Svelte 4 code to Svelte 5. So basically most of these projects are existing Svelte 4 projects that were converted to Svelte 5. In the first place we have Svelte MapLibre GL, or if you want to be more dramatic you can say MapLibre. But yeah, basically we have here MapLibre. Okay, so this is basically a Svelte 5 wrapper for MapLibre GL JS. So you can use it to build interactive web maps effortlessly with Svelte's reactive and declarative power. So for example, if we look at these examples here, we can look at a plane map, for example. So now we can learn some geography. Okay, here we have Japan, land of the rising sun. Okay, so here we have these two Koreas, and here is China. Okay, so here we can go to a more complex map. We can actually, oh, this is fancy, right? Oh, look at this. You can have markers and pop-ups. Here we have this dog. Very nice, right? So we can change the base styles apparently. Oh, this looks really cool. Oh, look at this. Wow, damn, I might be a map person after all. Call me Johnny Harris. Alright, so here we can even have hover styles for this map. United States. Oh, is this the 52nd state right here, Canada? I'm just joking. Okay, so you can just go to the clusters, and we can also look at some other things. Okay, here it is. So you can be the weather channel like this. So you can have some images, you can animate them, you can do whatever you want. But basically, this is a really cool library. So let's actually see what it uses. This is what I found out. So it uses MapLibre GL for the maps, right? It uses this DeckGL library for high-power GPU performant large-scale data visualization. So you can see how they have this 3D representation here. You can also do that using this package, right? So you can have a 3D representation of some map, right? And it uses PM tiles. So this is some format for displaying maps. I'm not really sure what it is, but this is used for this library. And then you have TerraDraw. This is also some helpers for drawing maps, right? And basically this is really cool to me because we're seeing how this library stand on the shoulder of giants, because this would be really not feasible to do all of this yourself. But now we have this beautiful API that we can use in Svelte without thinking about what it uses under the hood. Alright, so the next place is going to be SvelteUX, and this is absolutely a great library. So we can actually look at it. Basically, this has components for you from app bar, app layout if you want, nav items, settings, and etc. It has other elements like avatars, button group, inputs like checkbox, field, and etc. But the most impressive things here to me are probably going to be, let me actually see. You can see you have everything here from state, form, selection, you have motion, scrolling value, spring values. So if you want to animate some values, let's say you're going to see how we're going to use spring animations here. So we're going to animate to 100. Let's go to -100. You can see how cool is this. And this is always that gets me these examples in this library. Look how cool this is. So here you have this tilt component. You can see here we can tilt this, but we can improve it even further. We can set the brightness, and we can also add a shine like a foil card or whatever. This looks really cool to me. We can actually change the perspective amount. How cool is this, right? I can always play with these examples all day. And then of course it has other things. So you have a tween value here also, so you can just use a regular tween. And this is what's also the coolest thing to me. So this uses this SVG trick to make GUI morphing things using SVG filters, I think. So you can see here we have morphing text. You can morph whatever you want basically like this, and you can have even rounded text background. So you can see how you have this orbiting glowing dot. It looks like GUI because it's using an SVG filter under the hood. So for example, if we look at the code example, we can see that it uses this component GUI, and it uses this trick blur and contrast in SVG, or it has to use the color matrix trick, because if you ever played around with contrast and this trick using regular CSS and SVG, then you know that you can only apply it to black and white things. So I think this is using a color matrix or whatever under the hood to make this effect work. But maybe one day we can actually look at how it works exactly. But yeah, you can actually see how cool this looks. Here you can see, here we have a GUI mouse. You can see how wonderful is that, friends. So in the third place, we have Rokkit, which is another cool UI library component. So you can say get started. These are composable elements which you can use. So it differentiates these atoms where you have icons and etc. So let's see. Then it has molecules. Let me find some component. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, now we can see you have these components like this slider and etc. I wish this was done better on the side, because now I have to close all of these things, but it doesn't matter. You can actually see, let's see what are organisms. So organisms are things like switch, tabs, list, and etc. Maybe we can read the documentation, right, to understand what all of these things mean. But yeah, if you need any of these things, you can see they're animated, they're custom made. So this looks really great. And another cool thing about Rokkit, it uses Uno CSS. I know some of you love Uno CSS. Basically, it's a tailwind version made by Ant Fu, which is a really genius developer, right? So he said, okay, tailwind CSS isn't enough for me. I want to make Uno CSS, which does what I want, right? And basically, a lot of people enjoy Uno CSS and it seems to resonate with them. So try out Uno CSS if you haven't. Alright, so in the fourth place, this is really interesting. Svelte MiniApps. These are just useful apps that you can use in your daily life. And I think this was mostly made for learning purposes, if I understand correctly. So you can have advanced emoji tools, English dictionary, contribution tracker, and etc. So for example, if we go here to apps, we can see you have advanced emoji tools, budget tracker, currency converter if you need this, markdown editor, contribution tracker for GitHub, English dictionary, QR code generator, random emoji generator, random password generator, and even a to-do list with persistence if that's something that you need. But yeah, I think that this is a really cool idea, and this is the power of the web, because you can make things for yourself, right? You can just put it on the web. You don't have to build some desktop app, unless you want to, right? We learned about Tori, which is really cool. You can use Electron, whatever. But this is the coolest part about the web. You can make something really useful for yourself or others, and you can just host it on the web for free, basically, almost, right? Like this is just a personal site, basically. But yeah, this is a really wonderful project. Alright, and the last entry in the list, in the 5th place, is Roguelighter Engine. And I was most excited about this one because this is a 2D game engine made with Svelte, but unfortunately I couldn't get this thing to run. I tried on Linux, Windows, I would just get some build errors. It wanted this build tools, then it wanted some other build tools, and you know how it goes. I just couldn't get it to run, so maybe someone can figure it out, maybe write it in the comments, or if the author itself is watching, maybe write some better instructions in the repo, right? How can I run this? Because just installing dependencies and running it doesn't work. At least for me, but I can only pretend how it works because basically this is also a Tori app. So I imagine when you open this app, this is like a 2D game engine where you can maybe have a GUI where you drag things around, or I don't know, maybe you write code by hand, I'm not sure. You have some examples here, which is most likely a representation you can just copy and paste to recreate what you have or made with that engine, right? So for example, here we have some text. This is how you would maybe do text using that GUI, right? I can only guess, right? So for example, here we have computed variables as text, and you have a lot of cool examples here. So you have a pause menu, functions, settings, FPS, how you can set things. So we have this nice character. We also have things like movement and etc. So you can just probably copy paste this and then you have this done in the game editor. But yeah, basically this looks like a really cool concept. I really want to try it out. But yeah, that's basically it. If you want to support my work, you can become a Patreon member and you can even join the Discord. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.